So, what is the MG Gloster Blackstorm edition like to drive? Well, you'll tell me that it's the same thing as before, but I'll tell you an interesting fact. Ever since the BS6 Phase 2 norm kicked in, we never really drove the Gloster, and now that we've finished testing the car for a good couple of days, almost put in 350 to 400 kilometers, I have a very good idea of what the car is like with the new BS6 Phase 2 engine. This is, of course, a much bigger motor. It has nothing to do with the Hector's engine. It's a completely new engine on offer, which makes a lot of horsepower and torque. Power is around 215 bhp, and the torque is around 70 newton meters of torque. So that is a lot of torque and horsepower, in this segment, going through a very smooth, very good, gearbox that is on offer. Upshifts and downshifts are pretty seamless, and this car is this rather extremely big SUV is good to drive when it comes to the engine and powertrain aspect, because refinement is very good, and you barely hear the engine inside. What you also notice is, there is a bit of low end torque that is missing on this car. In the engine basically wakes up after 2000 rpm, and before that it's just a bit of uh, dull, and that also makes it a little bit weaker when it comes to off-roading, because you need a bit more extra throttle input than usual, because you expect a lot of torque from a big bulky SUV, ladder on frame, such a big engine, so much horsepower and torque, but that's not available at the low end. So I'm not comparing it to anybody, it's just the segment standards that this car we are talking about here. And so that's missing, but mid-range is good, top end is great, and this car is actually, your first impressions of the car SUV is going to be like, you know what, this is actually smooth and very easy to drive, because it goes in a straight line really well. There is hardly any pitch and bob on a straight patch of road, and when the road gets a little bit off cambered, you will notice some pitch and roll happening, which is slightly more pronounced than its rivals, is where I like to sort of compare it to. That could have been better, and the ladder frame is still not the very best ladder frame in this category. Slightly above or below, there are much better ladder frames on offer, but this is far more superior to a lot of other things that we've seen in the past. So people who are, let's say, upgrading from a age old Scorpio, or something like that, you will find that this car actually is far more superior, but there are slightly better ladder on frame cars on offer at this price point. So it's a good balance, I would want to say. If you're not pushing around much, which nobody does for a ladder on frame chassis, you can live with this car very easily. One of the reasons why you can also live with this car easily is that the steering wheel is hatchback light. So making these 3-point turns that I'm doing right now, because somebody's parked exactly at the spot of a U-turn, makes me realize the steering is just so light again and again. I've done this multiple times, and I can clearly tell you that it is quite easy. uh, Apart from that, uh, the brakes, there is a bit of pedal play, and that means that this car is probably slightly well used, and the pads need replacement. But despite that, braking performance is good from any given speed, 120 and 140 when we tried, and it does feel reassuring, it does feel confident enough to do so. And in this, yeah, we can see that happening right away. So quite impressive on that aspect. Since there is a lot of pitch and roll, there is a good amount of body roll as well. You feel the weight as well of the car. So like I said, if you're not pushing this car much, you're really going to enjoy this, because of the ride quality that is on offer, which is actually quite good, even while running slightly higher pressures on the tires. When we got the car, it was running slightly higher pressures, and despite that, the ride quality was good. When we got the numbers right, factory recommended, of course, the ride just became even more better. So the ride quality is the big part. Like I said, your first impressions are going to be smooth and of a comfortable car with a very light steering that is on offer. Um, More on the engine, well, I think again a slightly weak point for the Gloster's engine is the fuel economy. Just like the petrol Hector that we recently tested, The fuel efficiency, of course, could have been a tad better. We're only getting right now 7 to 9 kilometers per liter while driving under 120 kilometers an hour, while getting stuck in traffic, while putting it in eco mode and a bit of sports mode. So an average of 8.5 for a car of this size uh, is good. It can be better if you drive much better than what I am doing right now, which includes sport mode and everything. Is great even if you're driving like this on a daily basis. You can still get 8.5, 9, and we don't really always get the time to really get the fuel efficiency. That only happens after a month of testing. So in our test, when we get 8.5 or something like that, you can expect 8.5, 9 to come on a daily basis. Like I said, we are really impressed with the gearbox. The engine is also good enough. The fuel efficiency is also good enough. Everything is good enough. What is great is the interior, the quality, the technology, the space on the inside is really good, and that is where my verdict is actually, it comes in, and where I'm really impressed. You do get a lot of value for your money. So that's no denying that the BS6 Phase 2 engine continues to be very similar to what it was earlier. So again, there is hardly anything to complain. And yeah, the Gloster remains a very recommendable car in this segment, with what everything it has to offer. A lot of premium, a lot of tech, a good amount of performance, decent ride and handling, excellent comfort, and we can't fault this much. And we're also quite impressed with this MG Gloster. That is it. Thank you so much for watching our video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on our social media and website for everyday updates. Until then, goodbye.